Hey guys, Darko here and welcome back to another video of Halo Infinite LASO. In this video, I'll be completing the Silent Auditorium on LASO without the tank gun. I saw in a lot of comments of people actually requesting this, so here it is. I'll pretty much skip past the first couple bits here and only focus on the hunters and the final boss area, as these two should be the only things that are concerning in this entire level. So let's just get straight into it. Jumping straight into the hunters, you just want to take this room slow. I'm using the rocket launcher as I did in my previous video, and I'm just trying to cut around these hunters. It's unfortunate that you can't skip this bit, but you have to kill these hunters to progress the level. My tip is actually using the fusion cores that are scattered around the room, as these do the most amount of damage to the hunters if you're able to hit them in the back. I've essentially just sped up this footage here, as this is just me just fighting them for about nearly 2 minutes long. So I just wanted to cut it down to at least a minute, so this just speeds it up a little bit. You can also use the evade module in this room, as you're actually able to break line of sight quite easily sometimes. It can be a bit finicky here and there, so it's a bit risky. So try hitting them in the back, as this does the most amount of damage, but just slowly whittle down their health. Try to target the one that's also using the rapid fire shot. It's pretty much one of the two. You can easily figure it out after a few deaths or like the spawn locations. I think it's the one on the right maybe, but it can be different for your spawn, so just try and experiment with that. You also want to try to make sure you have full shields at the end of this room, so you don't need to do this fight over and over again if you die in the following rooms. Alright, now I'm just going to skip forward to the Harbinger boss fight. Moving to the first phase of the Harbinger fight, just take your time here, try to at least memorize some of the room area spawns. You'll be able to get used to them if you're standing in the same location. I know there's at least one here, one on my left hand side and one to the far right. I pretty much just get used to shooting a rocket into the doorways. This typically at least clears out all the enemies, and there's nothing really too difficult. Just make sure you try to clear out the skimmer enemies as well as the brutes with the rocket launcher. Try to at least leave one guy alive to have full shields for the first phase of the boss fight. You want to at least ignore what I do here when I grab the Sentinel Beam. I thought it was going to be the same thing as the Legendary run, where it was going to melt her shields and health essentially, but I just found that actually using the rocket launcher in these phases is actually a lot better and does much more damage. You can use the Sentinel Beam, however, to actually melt her health pretty much instantly, so make sure you use it. Also try to melee her near the end of the fight, just to make sure your shields are full to guarantee a checkpoint. After a quick death here, you want to do the same tactic as I did before, trying to memorize all the enemy spawn locations after you die, or if you're actually really lucky, shoot a couple rockets in the tunnels that they actually open and all that. It just makes it a lot easier and faster to clear out all the enemies. No sweat here. When you start to face the Harbinger, I really gave it my best shot with using the Sentinel Beam. Like I said before, I thought it was going to do the same amount of damage that it did in the Legendary run that I did before, but it turns out it does really nothing. Just keep using the rocket launcher. I'll just speed it up here just to show you guys how long it actually took me just to really give it a shot, but it just didn't work. Use your rocket launcher, makes it a lot faster, you do a lot more damage. Make sure you melee her at the end of the fight just to make sure you have your shields to at least get a checkpoint for this third phase. Make sure you use the evasion module here if you want to avoid some of the range attacks that she does. This just allows you to actually dodge the attacks and not actually get hit by them. They're quite annoying to actually deal with, so keep evading just to make sure you're out of range and all that. A bit weird sometimes when you actually get close and she does this attack, so it's just a little bit of just a safety tactic. After a couple more deaths, you want to grapple up to this platform here and turn around. The first two doors on the left and right hand sides on the bottom floor will open up before a door behind you opens up. Your spawns might be different, so just try to get used to it. Each doorway will spawn an elite and a couple skimmers, while the third one actually spawns the brute chieftain. For the first doorway, you want to actually destroy the elite as well as the skimmer immediately. Sometimes there's a bit of luck here and there. Try to aim for the middle of the doorway and fire your shots to the ground there. This will usually send them flying into the walls to immediately kill them. You know if you've done this correctly if the doors immediately close. Focus your attention on the second doorway and take a couple shots to kill the skimmer enemies. Then turn around and chuck a couple electric grenades at the third doorway to stun lock the elite and the chieftain as well as the skimmer. If you've done this, then actually get a couple rocket launchers down at range to at least kill the elite as well as the skimmer. As soon as you've done that, you want to then focus on the elite that you left behind, or if you actually manage to kill him, focus on the chieftain. leave the chieftain for last, as he actually used the sentinel beam to melt his armor off. You also want to make sure you have full shields for this final encounter, just to make sure you don't die in a very silly way. The reason why those elites actually went flying was because of the ramp. If you're actually able to shoot behind them as they're walking upwards, they actually usually are sent flying. You saw me do it twice, so it's actually fairly consistent. I'm pretty much just going to speed up the chieftain fight here, as well as the Harbinger, just pretty much because after you get past this point, it should be really smooth sailing. Make sure you keep your distance and actually keep moving around. Make sure you don't die silly, otherwise you have to repeat this entire fight over again. And with that, you pretty much complete the entirety of Halo Infinite LASO again without the tank gun. For the average player who actually wants to do the LASO run, use the tank gun. I cannot preference this enough. You will at least save a lot more time and effort in actually using the tank gun than actually using any sort of other gun, really. It just makes boss battles a lot easier. Anyway, this is pretty much should be my final Halo Infinite campaign guide here, as there should be nothing else. I'm not going to really go back to the old missions just to run the boss battles again without the tank gun, because in all honesty, tank gun is the way. I just wanted to show in this video that it is possible to complete Halo LASO, well, without the tank gun. I just wanted to show these final two missions, as these two are pretty much the hardest ones out of everything else. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this series, make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment down below about your problems with your LASOs or any games that you're actually interested in me in actually attempting and showing a guide for. I'm more into some of the more harder difficulty games, as what I've planned with my next series coming up. Anyway, it's been your boy Dark Hope. I hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.